Okay, so today is maintenance day. I spend maybe a half hour once every 10 to 14 days doing maintenance, and that's pretty much all I have to do to the pond. The first thing I'm going to do is walk around and turn off the pump. Okay, this is the back of the pond and the back of the little pump house I have, and I'm going to go in and open the gates and turn off the pump. Simple enough. Those are my filters and pump. There's my aerator. Go over to the electrical outlet, turn off the switch. Pump is off. I leave the aerator on so it keeps air flowing while the filter's off. All right, I'm gonna go back over to the skimmer now. That'll be the first thing I usually work on. Okay, I'm over at the skimmer. I already took off the artificial rock top, the cover, and I took the basket out because you need two hands to get the basket out, and I have the phone in one, so I took care of that. The next thing I do for the skimmer, since I have the basket comes out of there, is I take the filter pad out of the back, just like that. As you can see, it's dirty, so we're going to empty the basket right there and wash out the filter pad. Okay, when I wash out the filter pad, I usually just hang it on this clothesline and, oh, forgot to turn the hose on. Be right back. Okay, so I take the hose and I just give it a spray. I try to get most of the dirtiness out of it. As you can see, the dirty water. Sorry about the bad video. Trying to hold the camera and do this. So I'm going to shut the camera off and finish this up. Okay, the filter pad is washed out. I'm back over at the skimmer. So I am sliding this back into the skimmer slot where it goes. Just like that. I'm going to put the skimmer basket back in. Actually, I already did. Right in there, it slides right down. And the skimmer is cleaned. So now, it's very sunny out here. Sorry about all the shadow. Just drop the top on. I don't really secure it too tight. Put the two ballasts from the UV lights that are built into the skimmer back on. Cover it up with my artificial rock, and the skimmer part is done. Now we're going to go over to the pumps and the filters and do the filters. Okay, I'm back over at the filters. This is the second part after the skimmer. As you can see, what I have laid out here are two lines. That's just pool, backwash, roll line. What I did was I hooked up some ends so I could attach it to my lines out. And this is what we'll do. So we take this end, and all I do is slide it on this pipe. Just slide it on. I do the same thing for my other filter. Just slide it on. And both of the backwash lines are hooked up. The next thing I got to do is hook up my blower. Most people leave their blowers on, I believe, but I just take mine out of the shed when I need it and screw it on. It takes, I don't know what that take, 15 seconds. That way it's not out in the weather all the time, and the electronics and the metal don't get messed up. Take the plug and plug it in. I'm going to plug it in there. And then what you need to do is you put the filter on rinse. So my filter is now set for rinse. I open up my backwash line, and it's ready to be aerated or whatever with the blower. So I turn on the blower, turn on the line, and what this does, whoop, forgot one more important thing. Gotta open the line up. It blows air into the filter, and pressurized air with all the bubbling and everything shakes up all the beads. So all the muck and debris that the beads blocked from going through the filter when it was cleaning will get knocked off now and separated, so when I backwash it'll flow out real easy. This line is basically blowing out air now and a little bit of water, so the thing doesn't blow up. But yeah, so we need 3 to 5 minutes of that blower on. So I'll be back. Okay, so the blower's been on for about 4 or 5 minutes. We're gonna shut it off. Very important, we need to close the valve so when we backwash it, no water comes back up and gets into the motor. And basically what we're going to do is now change this to backwash and turn the pump back on, and it should clean out the filter. I have to plug the pump back in. Pump is on and running, and we're going to see what we have. Dirty, dirty water. Very nasty, dirty water coming out of there. And we let that run till it starts running clear. We'll be back. Okay, so the water is starting to run nice and clear. We're going to go back over to the filters, and we are going to turn off the pump. We are now going to put it on rinse. What rinse will do now is wash out any dirt that's left in the pump instead of sending it back into the pond, that little bit that's usually left over. This makes sure it's all out. So we're going to turn the pump back on. All right, hold on. It's unplugged. Okay, the pump's plugged in. Real quick, everything's back on. The filter is on rinse, so it should be sending out the last of the dirty water that was left over. As soon as that gets clear, which it already is, that was quick, I can turn off the filter and set it back into the pond. I do that. Let's turn you off. Put it back on filter, and this one is ready to go. Now, I have a second one here, and it's the same exact process, so I'm not going to show it on the video. It's just identical to what I did to the first one. The only thing I am going to show you is I set this up so I only need one blower. So I turn off this valve so the blower does no longer go into this one, and I come over and I open this valve, and now the blower will blow the air into the second pump. Okay, I have finished cleaning out both filters, and the next thing I do is I can detach the slide off one, slide off the second one. You're gonna have a little bit left in the pipe, but then it just drains out. And what I need to do now, I take this sledgehammer rubber mallet and I just check the basket in the pump, and I turn off these valves, so as you see, so no water goes flying back down. Open up the top, You see there's some gunk in there. Not too bad though. And I'm gonna clean this out and be right back. Okay, I cleaned out the skimmer basket, replaced it back into the pump, put the top back on. The next step will be to remove my blower. That's simple enough. Even with one hand, just like that, unplug, and that will go back into the shop, my shed. What I do next is I take this guy that I had on the backwash hose and I hook it up here, just like I did on the backwash hose. I'm trying to do this with one hand, sorry. And that is the drain to my waterfall box. So I'm going to turn it on, and the water's going to start flowing out of my waterfall box, which is over here. So this is the last step. I take off the fake rock. These two rocks just help hold down the grate. I take off the grate, just drop it on the ground, and these are bags of K1. All K1 media. I just let that drain out a little bit, throw it on. Oh, shoot. Let's put this guy back. We didn't want that to happen. Throw the 4 bags of K1 after we let them drain out a little bit, just onto the grate. That's 2. 3 and 4. So that's a lot of K1 biological media that the water's flowing through before it goes into the pond. Next thing I have here is a polishing mat. Take that out, and I just throw it down on the ground, and I'm going to spray that off with the hose and be right back. Okay, underneath the polishing pad, there's about 6 inches of metallipads. That's pretty much all biological stuff. My filter has emptied out, so I'm going to start putting things back in. Put the polishing pad back in on top of the metallipads. I'm going to put the K1 bags back on top now. I will say this is about a big royal pain in the ass trying to take this video and do this at the same time, but I'm doing the best I can. It's going to probably be broken up into a couple of videos because my camera stopped and started. But I just put these in. I try to cover the whole bottom so there's no place where water is going to flow through and not go through some of this K1. And that looks pretty good. All right, we're going to take the grate, put it back on top. Oh, I did it again. Let me warn everybody, don't take videos while you're doing this. It's not working out too good. Let's put him back in. I'm going to have to do to fix that up. Anyway, the grate's back on. These rocks back on that help hold the grate down. I'm going to put the artificial cover rock back on, which means I got to turn the phone off again. The rock's back on. I'm going to go turn the system back on. The only other thing I do sometimes when it needs it is I take this wire bristle brush and scrub off the tops of these waterfall rocks, the big ones where the water falls over. if it starts growing a lot of green algae, but right now it looks pretty good, so I'm not going to do it. So let's go around and turn the system on. I'm going to close up the valve for the waterfall filter again. Open up the valves for the filters. Hold on, this takes 2 hands. Okay, the valves are back open. And turn the pump back on. Whoops, that's not good. Don't make that mistake. I forgot to put it back on filter. Okay, now we should be good to go. There we go. Okay, everything looks good. I hope. We're gonna go see how this waterfall filter makes out now. Should fill up and flow over in a decent amount of time. And I'll be right back. Okay, here comes the water. It's starting to flow back over into the waterfall. The system is back on and running. There's the fishes, by the way. Most of them guys are 3 to 5 feet down. I have not turned on the bubbler again yet. But there's the waterfall running good. And we clocked in at exactly 28 minutes. And other than refilling the backwash water that came out of the pond right now, that's all I have to do for another 10 days to 2 weeks. Sorry about the really terrible video stuff. But doing this and trying to video at the same time by yourself was not the easiest thing to do. Okay, everybody, any questions, let me know and have a good day.